Hi everyone, Luke here from Weekend Tour Pros, and today we're continuing our reviews of the brand new equipment releases for 2023 with a review of these. It's the Callaway Paradigm X irons. Now, in the marketing of these irons, Callaway claim four things: that they look fantastic, they feel fantastic, they deliver incredible distance, and with incredible forgiveness. So let's get down to the fitting bay and put those four claims to the test and see how they really perform. Okay, so just got down to the fitting bay and I've got the Paradigm X iron in my hand for the first time, and my first impressions are it's a really good looking golf iron. I love like the shininess of the chrome. You've got this bit at the back which is kind of like a navy blue with some kind of gold bit on it. It just absolutely looks like a stunning iron, and the Paradigm, which is the other sort of brother club to this one in the set, also looks very, very similar as well. They both just look absolutely fantastic. Because it's a game improvement iron, we've got all of those usual characteristics of a game improvement iron. We've got that offset that helps us with forgiveness, we've got that chunky top line, and we've got that chunkier sole, which enables the manufacturers to kind of move the center of gravity back and lower, which helps us to pop the ball up, and that kind of balances out those stronger lofts that we see with these irons. Now this one as a 7-iron is coming in at 27.5 degrees. That does mean out of all of the game improvement irons that have been released this year, it is the second strongest 7-iron behind the Cobra Aerojet, and I'll put a few of them up on the screen for you now so you can see how it compares. So I am expecting this one to offer some really good distance, and again I'm really keen to see if the way that Callaway have put that weight, which is quite back and kind of away from the face to lower that centre of gravity, I'm hoping that's going to allow us to still get those good launches, those good peak heights, those good spins, descent angles that we always talk about when we're reviewing these. Now, I was just talking to James, who works here at Portsmouth Golf Centre, and he's also the Callaway ambassador, and he was saying to me that as well as the True Temper Elevate shaft, which is the standard steel shaft that I'm testing it in today, there is 3 graphite options as part of the stock set. One of them is a 50 gram, really, really light graphite shaft, and it's been designed by Callaway to help people who have got a much slower swing speed and are looking as much help as they can to just get that ball in the air. He said to me, you'd think it'd be super whippy, but actually it isn't when it's in the golfer's hands. And when he's been doing some fittings with people, he's been getting some really fantastic results using that graphite shaft. So if you're someone who's looking for as much help as you can, maybe your swing speed's slowing down, and you just want to get as much help as you can to pop that ball in the air, might be worth testing this Paradigm X with that 50 gram graphite shaft as well. Overall though, really, really impressed by how it looks. What we're going to do now is we're going to hit a batch of shots with the club, see how it sounds, see how it feels. I'm really excited to hear about that forged face. I've heard that it means it feels fantastic. We'll compare it then when we get home to a batch of shots I hit shortly before filming with my own Titleist T200. And I am also filming the normal Paradigm review after this. So what I will do when I get home is I'll be able to show you the numbers compared to the standard Paradigm. This iron here is targeting kind of 12 handicappers and above according to Callaway, whereas the normal Paradigm is in that 4 to 12 bracket. I'm of 13.6 at the moment at the time of filming, so I'm probably just in that kind of crossover point, always looking for as much help, so hoping this is going to give me that today. Let's give him a hit. So first shot up, I've hit a massive cutty slice, not the best strike in the world, but it absolutely flew miles into the air. And it still carried 144 yards, which is really, really impressive if I'm honest. I've hit a batch of shots my own club shortly before filming tonight. I wasn't hitting it that great, and I was really struggling to get some carry numbers with my own clubs tonight. So to see this one, big cut out the gate, still carrying 144 yards, spinning at 4,700, that peak height over 70 that I'm always looking for at 73.6, land angle at 42.5. I haven't got a problem with that. I always talk about wanting to get that land angle closer to 45, but straight out the gate, first up, with these strong lofts, I'm pleased. Oh yeah. In the words of David Brent, you've charmed me. Second shot, 162 yard carry, 71.6 height. Spin is a bit lower at 3,850, and that land angle at 40 degrees. Now that was because it was a slight pull, which is why we've seen that carry number jump above the 160. But if I'm hitting a pull that still comes in with those numbers, that's just, yeah, it's mind-blowing. That's great. Give me more. Oh my God. That's so good. I'm 3 shots in. I love them. 3 shots in, they feel amazing. They sound amazing, they look amazing, and the numbers are great. Okay, the peak height there was only 65 feet. carry 149, land angle at 40. I learned something when I did my Cobra Aerojet review recently, which is my first impressions when I was in the bay was the numbers were great, but they felt like 6-iron numbers of my own set. And that's because they probably were, because of the difference in lofts. And actually, when I got home and reflected on it and looked at the numbers in more detail, I was blown away by so many areas it was able to keep up with my 7-iron, despite that reduction in loft. This is doing the same already, and I've learnt that it's just about gapping your bag correctly, because this is a really, really strong 7-iron in terms of performance and loft. Great start, Callaway. Oh my God. Yeah, that's great. That is almost bullet straight, maybe a little baby cut there, right over the line. Again, 69 feet. That spin is low, 3938, but again, we're comparing a strong 7-iron to a weaker lofted 7-iron. My Titleist T200 is a 30-degree 7-iron, more in that player's distance category. But carrying at 159.6, land angle at 39. Again, probably coming out a bit flatter than some of the other irons I've tested, but it's going an absolute mile. And again, I think that's just the loft. It's almost performing closer to a 6-iron of some of the other sets, but who doesn't want to hit their 7-iron 160 yards? I absolutely do, and it feels great. And it feels so easy to hit. Tiny bit of a pull again. Probably going to be a little bit lower because of that, but just effortless, so easy to hit. And another one, 156 yards, peak height a little bit lower again at 59. These are just, again, when you look at the numbers, they're just 6-iron numbers in my own set, but this is as easy to hit as an 8 or a 9-iron in my own set, and I'm getting 6-iron numbers. Why am I not gaming a set of these game improvement irons? Every time I test them in these videos, I just want to replace my irons with a set because they're so effortless. Oh, yeah. Oh, Callaway, Paradigm. Again, 157.7 on the carry. They're going an absolute mile. 3,942 on the spin. Peak height of 64, landing at 37. So that'll be a really interesting one. I've caught that one fat, quite heavy. I could feel that straight away. So it'll be interesting to see what drop-off we get from it. Game over. Like, I've hit it fat. It's gone 55 feet in the air. The spin has obviously gone nowhere because of the connection at 2,900. But I've carried it 152. Like, it's still launched at 16 and land at 33. When I do the set when I get home, I'll take that one out because it's not a fair comparison to the batch of shots I hit with my own one. But I'm keeping that in for the video to show you just how forgiving these are. Like, I could tell that I'd caught that really, really heavy. And it's just performed distance-wise better than my own 7-iron. Like, what is going on? Jeez. These are just getting better and better. I've hit a little baby cut there back onto target, so I'm expecting the height to have jumped up, which it has, 71 feet. Still spinning just under 4,000, so that is low spin, but again, we're comparing it to a 7-iron in a stronger loft. Carried 162 yards with a baby cut. Land angle at 40 degrees. Like, if I put the 8-iron of this in my hands and compared it to my 7-iron, I would be getting better numbers with the same carry. So I'd getting much stronger numbers, which says it's better for me. I just don't really know what else to say other than I love it. I just want to hit one more really good one to finish on, and then we'll surmise. Oh, so good. A little pull down the right. It's flown lovely again. Yeah, it's a great shot to finish on. 71 peak height, spinning at 4,100, carrying at 160, and that land angle at 40. Okay, so done hitting shots with the Paradigm X now. My initial conclusions while I'm here in the bay are, I absolutely love it. I love how it feels. I love how it looks. I love how it sounds. Like the looks are just stunning. I'm convinced it's my favourite looking iron out of all of the irons I've tested recently. I love the Cobra Aerojet, so it's probably out of the two in terms of which one I prefer the looks of the most. But this is stunning. It's got all those chunky features that we're used to. They probably look a bit chunkier because of how shiny the chrome is on this, but I don't see that as a problem. And when it's down at the ball, I just feel like it's going to inspire a load of confidence. In terms of the numbers that I'm seeing, when we do get home and compare it, you will see some differences between this and my Titleist T200, but let's remember that's a 30-degree loft in a player's distance iron. This is a 27.5-degree loft in a game improvement iron. They're trying to design themselves for two different types of golfers. And what I said earlier in the video, and I think it's just worth repeating, is if I was hitting the 8 iron of this compared to my 7 iron, or hitting this 7 iron against my 6 iron, I think I would be picking the Callaway every day because it's so easy to hit. It feels as easy to hit this 7 iron as it does to hit my 8, 9 iron pitcher. It's just absolutely effortless, and that's what I want in a golf club personally. It's convinced me this year I need to change my irons for something super easy to hit. So yeah, overall, really, really love it. Really keen to get home and compare the numbers to the normal Paradigm. So I'm about to film that review now, and I'll be able to show you both sets of numbers when I get home, so you can see the comparison between the two as well and how they differ, as well as against my Titleist T200. But leaving the bay, absolutely love it. Great job, Callaway. Let's get home, see those numbers and see how it compares to the normal Paradigm. Okay, so we're back home. We've had a chance to analyse the data in a little bit more detail here, and I've also filmed the review for the Paradigm, which will be coming soon onto the channel, so I'll also be able to show you that data set as promised in a second. But just going to start with the comparison against my own Titleist T200, which was a batch of shots I hit just before I started filming. What we can see here is we've worked our way from left to right, that the Paradigm X was performing exactly as we would expect it to, given that stronger loft and all those super game improvement features that Callaway have done a great job of. So working our way from left to right, we can see that club head speed was 1.2 mile an hour more. We were able to generate nearly 4 mile an hour of extra ball speed, which caused that smash factor to be up. And again, we would expect that. I would expect that if I was using the 6 iron of my set, which is a similar loft to this 7 iron, I'd expect to see similar increases compared to my 7 iron. That turned into a carry distance of 10 yards more, which is absolutely fantastic. And then a total distance of about 12.2 yards of difference. And again, that's because of, again, that stronger loft, meaning that it is coming in at a slightly lower sort of trajectory as it comes into land. And we can see that if we move across here, that the spin rate was a little bit lower, which meant it had a little bit less stopping power, but it was able to either match or outperform my T200 7 iron on launch and on peak height, and it was only slightly behind on those land angles. So overall, I think Callaway have done an absolutely fantastic job. And I think, like I said when I was in the bay, if I was using the 8 iron of the Paradigm X and comparing that to my 7 iron, I think we'd have seen a really similar carry number, but I think we'd have seen that spin jump up, and then we even more so would have seen those launches, those peak heights, those land angles jump up. And I think side by side, we would see that the Paradigm X actually would have outperformed my Titleist if the lofts were equivalent. I also promised you that I would show you the numbers against the standard Paradigm, so just moving over to those now, you can see them at the bottom set of data with the Paradigm X at the top. And again, exactly like we would expect to see, because the Paradigm is a 29.5-degree loft versus this one at 27.5 degrees. So again, we can see that the Paradigm X generates a little bit more club head speed. It still generates that extra ball speed, and as a result has that higher smash factor. The difference in carry is a little bit reduced this time, only 3.8 yards, but that Paradigm X is still stronger. And we can see that there's not as much difference in the spin number, but again, the Paradigm X is slightly lower spinning because of that stronger loft. And then this is where the Paradigm comes into its own as a slightly more player's distance iron. You start to see then that the launch angles, the peak heights, and the land angles are slightly better on that Paradigm, which says to me that you'd have a little bit more control and stopping power into a green if you're able to try and find the middle of that club every single time. Overall, I think both irons are performing exactly as you'd expect them to do, but if you do want to see the full review on the normal Paradigm iron, it's coming soon on the channel, so please subscribe and keep an eye out for it. In terms of that dispersion, again, don't be fooled about this. It does look like I was spraying this one a little bit all over the place, but if we take out those 2 shots on the bottom left-hand side, you'd actually see that circle become really, really tight. And actually, you can see there's probably 6 or 7 shots in quite a good tight little batch there together. And I did say I found the iron incredibly easy to hit, and I think that is absolutely the case, especially after I got a feel for it after those first couple of shots. As always, I like to just finish by showing you my strike location with the 2 irons. You'll see here that actually my strike location with my own Titleist T200 was pretty good on the day, but you'll see how middled and how bright and red that Paradigm X is. Like I said in the video, I just felt like it was so easy to hit, almost as easy as hitting a pitching wedge or a 9 iron with my own set. And as a result, I was able to just continuously find the middle, so it absolutely felt fantastic and it was weighted fantastic. So overall, I think Callaway have done an absolutely fantastic job with this iron. Right at the beginning of the video, we talked about the fact that Callaway claim that these irons look fantastic, feel fantastic, and deliver really strong distance with unbelievable forgiveness. And I think I've been able to prove that throughout the video. So overall, I think you've done a great job, Callaway, with the Paradigm X iron. Now, one thing we've also been able to prove is the differentiator between the normal Paradigm and this iron, the Paradigm X, and how there's a place for different types of golfers depending on your handicap with the data sets that we've seen. Now, all that remains for me to say is if you like the video, please do consider giving it a thumbs up. Please tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you do like the content on the channel, please do consider subscribing. Otherwise, all that remains for me to say is have a great day. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.